Hey guys, guess what? We hit 20k subscribers. And I just want to take this time out to appreciate each and every one of you that have supported me one way or the other. Some of you guys even pray for me. I mean, all this is a motivation for me to keep going and keep posting more videos here for you guys. So if you're new here, my name is Ifoma. I'm a fashion designer and a pattern dressmaker. And today's tutorial is just basically going to be showing you guys how I made this outfit here. And it's just a simple mermaid dress. It has a little flare at the bottom, and I'm going to be showing you guys how I achieved that. Don't forget to click the like button. Let's grow this channel together. Subscribe, leave a comment down below because I really want to know you guys' thoughts and suggestions. So the comment section is open for that. The link to my Instagram page is going to be in the description box below, so you could check that out. Without further ado, let's jump right into this tutorial. So here are the measurements we're going to be using for this tutorial, and these are the items we're going to be using to make this outfit. We have our Dutchess fabric, we have our Tulle, we have a zip, pattern paper, tracing wheel, the marker, the French curve, our scissors, and these are just basically some of the items we're going to be using to make this dress. So here's her pattern we've already drafted, and I'm basically closing the shoulder dart. So even though you don't use this pattern method or you don't know how to draft pattern this way, and whatever pattern method you know how to do, I am going to try as much as possible to carry you along. So on the bust line, I went over to just mark down the lines so that if you're following me from whatever method you're using, if you have your lines, your bust line, your under bust line, your waistline, you can follow. So we're moving forward to achieve this sweetheart neckline, and I'm going in with my French curve. Please nobody should make comments about this French curve or the way it looks. And I've had it for a long time, like a very long time, when I was in fashion school. So I went over to close my shoulder dart. So if you're working with your pattern that doesn't have shoulder darts, you don't have to close any shoulder darts. You just go over to make your sweetheart neckline. So but me, I do have shoulder darts, so I have to close my shoulder dart and using my pencil just to, you know, accentuate the neckline. So if you use a Natalie Bray bodice pattern, you should be able to go through this process with me. And I'm just tracing this with my tracing wheel and went over with my marker to make the lines pop. Forward to the back, I went down by 1 cm, and I'm just going to be connecting that with my ruler. But note that if you do not move down by 1 cm for the front, you don't have to move down by 1 cm for the back. It's not really necessary. We're moving forward to the bottom part of the dress, and please guys, I'm sorry for the way my camera is bent. So basically I went over to measure the new measurements, like the new length. And as I've been able to achieve it, I'm just going to connect that with my ruler. After connecting this with my ruler, I'm going to move forward to extending our hip line measurements, and I'm going to do the same thing for the other side. So once I mark my point, I go in with my ruler and connect the line. So we're connecting our hip line to our knee line. On the center back, I went in by 1 inch, and I'm going to be connecting that with my ruler up over to the hip line. And on the side, I went by 1.25, and I connected that with my ruler. This is just to do a little bit of shaping at the bottom of the dress. So because the dress is from the shoulder to the floor length, not to the knee length, we're going to keep extending the lines down to where we have our floor length. So I took the measurement we have on the knee length and extended that to the floor length, and did the same thing for the front pattern also. Once I was done with that, I went in with my ruler and basically just connected my lines. So whatever you did for the knee length, you're still going to be doing it for the floor length. And I basically took my 1 inch we took at the center back and connected with my ruler like so. Next up, I'm just going to connect the front piece also with a ruler. Once that is done, I'm just going in with my scissors just to cut off the excess pattern paper we do not need. So for those that are confused on how to draft a basic body pattern,
I do have a tutorial up on my YouTube channel, and the link is going to be in the description box below, so you can check that out. And one of the good things about learning how to do this is you get to be able to follow me also along on my projects with me. Back to the upper part, and we've done our shaping on this pattern. What I'm doing is to eliminate my darts, and by doing this I don't want that to be at the lower part of this dress for the front side, so I'm basically just transferring the dart to the side. That's just it, simple. And I proceeded to just cut this through. Once you're done cutting this, I just went forward to cut my back piece also. And when I got to this point, I just decided to fold the lower part piece and just keep it aside. So right now I'm just cross-checking my measurement just before I go as far as cutting the pattern piece, and I'm running my marker just to highlight the places I'm going to be cutting out. And once that is done, I will move forward to my darts. So here's what I'm doing with the darts. I want to eliminate the darts a bit, and I just went in with my ruler just to do that stuff over there, which was about 1 cm when I was done. And I'm going to be cutting that off. Proceeded to labeling my pattern CB1, CB2, CF1, CF2. And on my CF, I'm going to where we have our shoulder joining, and I'm basically just going by, you can go by 0.5 inches or 1 cm, and I'm connecting that like so. This is just to give the bust more shaping. So once I'm done with that, I'm going with my scissors to cut out the front and the back piece. Done with all of that, I'm going over to close up my shoulder dart and just staple that down. And if you're using a pattern that doesn't have a shoulder dart, you need to just keep this process. And yes, I went up with my ruler just to connect the lines. I already took the measurement of my shoulder just to ensure everything is in place. I got another piece of paper, pattern paper, and then I just placed my center front on the pattern paper. After folding this in place, we're going to be cutting out our pattern piece, and I just went in with my scissors just to cut this out. I labeled my pattern piece and going over to get our neck width. I went in with my scissors just to cut this out, and voila, this is what we have when we open this up. So now we're having a full front piece. I'm going in with my ruler just to mark the upper part of the neckline I want to achieve. There's no specific measurement I used for this. I just pictured the outcome, and then just put this in place. I checked my shoulder measurement to ensure that okay, I have enough shoulder width, and then I just cut this out. So this is the piece we're going to be using, the part with the CF. We're moving forward to the back, and what I want to do now is to mark that point where we have our cut out. And then once I have that, I'm just going to connect this with my ruler like so, and then go in with my shoulder width we measured over time, and then connect that with my ruler down over there, just like that. Once I was done labeling this pattern, I just went over to, highlight my lines with my marker, and this is just to indicate the pattern I'm going to be cutting out. So once I was done cutting this out, this is what it looks like. And what we're going to be doing next is to join our CF to our CB. I first of all labeled down just for me to indicate which part is going to be in the lower bottom. So right now I flipped this, and I'm going to do this again. I flipped it. Flipping this is just like, doing your one-sided shoulder, and I went over to tape this and cut off the excess tape. Done with all of this, and this is what the upper part of our front piece looks like. And we're going to move forward to the lower part. Cutting the lower part of this, we're going to be needing our fabric. We have 3 yards of a Dutchess fabric, so I'm going to proceed just to lay this down in place. And once I'm done laying this down, I put my pattern piece. I went ahead to pin this in place because I do not want my fabric and my pattern moving around. So moving forward to the bottom, like the floor and the bottom part, and I'm going to be extending that line with my ruler. I went over to measure about 14 inches at the bottom over there. I'm going to be showing you why. And over there on the nail length, I just slashed out a bit, and I'm going in to measure 1 inch for the side seam allowance. So I measured 1 inch all the way to the knee length we slash out over there, if you can see that. So I went over to connect the line from the knee length over to where we have that 14 inches we cut out on the floor length. So this part is very important. You take the measurement of your pattern piece, the side, and you're going to initiate that measurement on your fabric, the measurement you've put on your fabric over there. All of this helps with when joining your front piece to your back piece by the side. No side is longer than the other. And moving forward, we're going to add our hemming allowance, which is 1 inch. So I'm going to be adding 1 inch to the bottom piece. Also, don't forget to add your sewing allowance for the upper part also. And once you're done with all of that, this is what the cutout looks like. It's already coming to life. So we're moving forward to the back piece, and I want to have this illusion of the back piece. The center back is a bit longer than the side, so it's going to have maybe like a mermaidish kind of back. So I'm going over to pin this. So I will usually take more amount for the side, just the same way we did our 14 inches, but this is all we have. This is all the fabric that we have left, and we still needed to do the to cut out the upper part of this dress. I went in to take 1 inch allowance, as you can see over there, and I'm going to be connecting the down with the ruler and connecting the knee length all the way to the bottom. So I took the measurement, same measurement like I told you guys, and I'm going to mark that down. So I'm going to be connecting this all the way to the bottom. If you guys remembered, I said I wanted the bottom part to be longer than the sides. So this is what it's looking like so far. I added 1 inch allowance for the hemming, and voila, this is it so far before I do my cutout. You guys, if you have any suggestion of any sharp fabric, chalk or something I could use while making tutorials, please suggest, because editing this I observed that the chalk marks were not like sharp as it should. I don't know the reason why, or maybe I'm using the wrong color on the dress. To be very honest, I feel like the chalk is not visible in camera, only because it was visible physically. Me doing all of this, it was visible to me. So this is the front piece, and we have the back piece over there. so you can see the cutout also. Now we're going over to cut our lining, and we're not doing the full face lining. We're going to be doing a half face lining, which means the lining is not all the way to the floor. It's kind of a 3/4 kind of method of lining. So I'm going to be cutting this out. So after cutting all of this, we're going to proceed to cut the upper part of the dress, and I proceeded to pinning this in place. I'm sure you guys already know the routine by now. We pin the pattern piece to the fabric, and once we're done with that, we're going to add our sewing allowance. So here's me just adding 1/2 inch sewing allowance, and for the side I added 1 inch sewing allowance. After cutting this on our fabric, and we're going to be cutting this also on our lining. Here's what all the cutout looks like, both the fabric and the lining. And we ironed stay to our fabric, directly just to the fabric, and this is what the stay looks like. I'm going to be showing you guys now. This is what it looks like. It's just a black stay. They have the white color also. So right now I'm going over to pin the front piece together, and I'm just basically going to be pinning everything together just before I go over to my sewing machine to stitch. After pinning the front piece, we go over to the back piece and also repeat the same step we did for the front and pin our piece together. So I flipped this to the wrong side, and I went over with my chalk just to put an indication, which is going to help me indicate where is up or down, because it can get really confusing. After stitching this is what it looks like, both for the lining and for the fabric, and this is what the back piece also looks like. So we have everything all stitched in place. So I folded this net with a length of 60 into 4, and this is what I have when I folded it. So I also measured out the length of, if you remember the pattern piece we cut out, I measured that out as the length. I went in to insert my ruffle foot, and I'm going in with my ruffle foot just to make it gathers effect. I feel like I should have done this a bit different, but I'm going to be showing you guys the outcome. The reason why I said I should have done this different is because The original design should have been pleating, but I didn't. I was out of time, to be honest, guys. I was behind schedule to deliver the outfit, so I just had to use my ruffle foot to create this effect. So right now we're just going to do our check-ins. This is the pattern we cut out initially from the start, and this net piece we're going to be checking the length and making sure everything is in place. We only added extra inches, which was the inches from where we have our sweetheart all the way to the waistline. So right now I'm going over to pin this. This is just to give me an illusion of what I want to achieve. Go over to drape on the other side also, and give yourself time, because draping requires time and patience also, because things might not go your way and you just might have to pin or readjust, which is actually a good thing because it gives you room for adjustment. Once I was satisfied with the possible outcome, I went over to stitch the bottom first, and this is what it looks like when I went over to stitch the bottom. So I took this out and went over to stitch the bottom part to the upper part also. So this is what the total looks like, and we have to join the back side of it. If you can see very well, you'll notice that I pinned one side of it. Now this is the back piece, and this is what the back piece looks like. The one side we've not joined, this is what it looks like. So we're going over to our sewing machine to stitch those two sides together to look like this. After stitching the two sides to look like this, and we're going to move forward to adding our zip. So the zip I'm using is not an invisible zip, and I would have loved if I had used an invisible zip, but I couldn't get an invisible zip for this shade of fabric. But anyways, this is what it looks like with the zip sewn to the dress. Here's what the bottom part looks like, and it's giving me that flare mermaid vibe. So moving forward to the upper part again, and basically what I'm doing is just to join my lining also the same way we did with the ultra fabric. And after joining the lining, we're going to be joining the lining now to the fabric. Here's what it looks like, and to be honest, I was yet to do any ironing on this dress because there was no light. I was behind schedule to even wait for light, and the iron uses lights basically, so I had to just keep on sewing. Then when I'm done, I iron this. So this is what it looks like. So we're going to be doing the other side, and after joining the lining to the other side also, this is what we are left with. I was looking all nice and good. Right now we're going to be laying this down and placing the front pattern right side facing each other, so we could be able to attach will I call it strap or sleeve, whichever one you want to call it, but I think I'm going to call it the sleeve. So I took the measurement over there, and I took the measurement also that I want to be inserting this too. So when I was done with that, I just had to cut off that excess excess fabric over there. I pinned this once I was done, and then I repeat the same thing on the other side. So I want you to also pay attention to the way I folded this. The two ends, like the two sides of the sleeves, were like folded. Here's what everything looks like. It's already coming to life. This is our zipper, and this is the inside. Here is the outside. You can see where we have our sleeve. Now we're going to be joining these two sides together, and when we join that, we're going to come back and I'm going to show you guys how far we've gone with this. Here's the breast cup we're going to be using for the stir. We're going to be inserting this inside the dress and hand stitching it. After doing that, I'm going over now just to pin everything down, and after pinning, the next step for us is going to be stitching. After pinning this side, I went over to the other side and I took the measurement where I wanted, the draping to start from, and I went in with my chalk and just marked that out, and then I started my draping also on the other side. Done with my pinning and placement, I moved forward to hand stitching this. So I went with my needle and thread to hand stitch everywhere that we pinned down, and later I'll go over and run this through with my sewing machine. Here's what the finished look looks like, and you guys should let me know, do you like this with the embellishment or without the embellishment? Here's what it looks like on my client, and we've come to the end of this tutorial. Don't forget to like, comment, and of course subscribe if you haven't. I'm going to be seeing you in my next tutorial.